Hi, I'm Shiny.
Hi, Shiny. I'm Jason Laird. Nice to meet you.
Nice to
Hey,
meet you.
Shani. Good
Hi,
to see you. Thank you for, being so accommodating. I appreciate it.
absolutely.
Great.
How can I help?
First of all, where do you live?
I live outside of Boston,
Okay,
Massachusetts,
great.
in
Awesome.
Burlington. Yeah.
Well, I asked Dr. Garv to do this because I've been helping her with her marketing and with her things and really to get a really good idea of her very best clients of why they decided to work with her and things like that. So I'm just going to ask you questions and just answer the way that the first thing that comes to your heart. And Dr. Garv, if you have anything else to add too, then that would be super helpful. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
So Shiny, how long have you been working with Dr. Garv?
Since December.
It's December. Great. So almost a year.
Almost, yeah.
What was it like for you before you met Dr. Garv? What was going on with you so that you decided to kind of look for some help?
So I was let go from an institution that I loved and adored.
Hmm.
It was a messy situation. And I restarted my career journey and I started working with one career coach who helped me kind of redo my resume and connected me with a couple of people. And I didn't feel fulfilled. I met with another career coach who gave me some coaching tips on how to interview, but it was just not what my soul needed. And ironically enough, I saw her Facebook video. One of the, I want to say it's a workshop. It was like 45 minutes or something, and it had slides. And I remembered meeting Mrinalini in a training many, many moons ago. And I was like, wait a second, she was a doctor then, and now she's doing this. And I know we're on the same wavelength when it comes to community building and cultural awareness. And I made an appointment and I called her, and I was completely vulnerable in that moment on so many levels. And she not only heard me, she listened and responded in a way that like made me have faith in myself again.
Oh,
And you know, what she has planned for you is pretty rigorous. And it's funny to go through it and see the classes, the sessions, the online piece. And like, I went full in because it was the first time I ever put myself first. And I can see the folks who are doing it with us. They're there and they get there eventually, but I was like, I gotta go full in because she's so thoughtful. I know that there's a plan here. It will work out. um yeah, so that's kind of how I got here.
that's great. Thank you for that. So one of the things that I want to understand is the qualities of the kind of people who say yes to Dr. Garv, because there's a lot of people that like you said, they maybe don't put themselves first and then decide, even though that Dr. Garv could help them, that maybe they still put others first. So what was it about you that finally was the piece that you said, you know what, this is it, this is the person that I want to become? And what was that quality for you, do you think?
Quality that of um I think it was that moment where she reminded me that I am accomplished and I'm powerful and I have strength, because I have lived my life being a people pleaser. um and I was always seeking external validation. And when she started giving us techniques about how to appreciate ourselves, I think it was that moment that I was like, oh, wait a second. I don't have to be the supporting character. I can be the star of this show in my life.
Very cool.
And no one's ever said that to me as eloquently and as powerfully as she did. Like, no one said you can be front and center and not be selfish, but you can protect yourself and create your boundaries and make sure you can be healthy. Those are the things I think of when I'm thinking of qualities.
Great, thank you. So you said something that intrigued me is when you were on the call and you just decided to become really vulnerable and she was able to hear you. how long had you suffered and been the other way where you just didn't get what you wanted?
Probably like 5 to 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I saw career coaching as like, here, you check these boxes, you make these connections, and it's like this external relationship building, while it's truly a balance of figuring out who you are and what you want, which I've never had the opportunity to do because I've always been trying to please others and be as competitive as possible. And she really put the spotlight on me in a lot of ways, and understanding myself.
Great. Before you came to Dr. Garv and in your other positions, were you fulfilled in there? Were you just kind of doing the duties? Like what was it like in your previous work experience?
I loved it for a point in time. I loved it for like, the first maybe 75%. In the last 25%, I've kind of like lost its luster, but I was getting comfortable and I didn't realize how comfortable I was getting.
Mm-hmm.
Because the comfort was an easy way to then take care of everyone else.
Sure. How has been working with Dr. Garv for almost a year now? How has your life changed in not only in your personal life, but in your business life?
Well, personal life, I've created some significant boundaries. Even my work life, I've created some significant boundaries where I'm like, okay, I'm done. Bye. I have fought for being paid more. And at first the person was like, I'm not sure. And then the next week they were like, I made this happen. We're going to do this. They're creating a job for me. In this new company. I decided to take a temp role and just do what I loved. It had to do with training and helping people build safety in a subway system. I came from academia, really truly not equivalent, but my skill sets in building the trainings made them want to create a job for me and pay me more than I was making in higher ed. So like, sure, let's do this. And I don't think I would have been sitting in that conversation about that job unless Minarli was on my shoulder saying, no, ask for the big numbers, ask for 175. I mean, his face was dropped to the ground when I said it, but now that he sees my work quality, I think he understands more and more and appreciates it. Why I said what I said.
That's very great. So what would you say to other people, other women especially, that are coming from a similar or backgrounds of not being heard and not being able to stand up and talk, and really especially in the higher workplace? What would you say to them about if they're thinking about working with Dr. Garv?
I would tell them to do it in a heartbeat, because it has changed the way I value myself and how others have valued me. And I think culturally, when you're growing up told that you're second best or third best, or you get fed second after all the men, it's just ingrained that you're always taking care of the kids, you're always putting your life on hold for someone else. And to have an advocate for you reminding you that you are number one and you have to take care of yourself, and you can find a nice balance in doing what you need to get done and what your family or your communities need, it changes the way you see work. Work-life integration is the language that you taught us. Yes. It totally changes it. I have some family members who are like self-doubting right now. They're brilliant, but they doubt themselves, and I'm gently saying, do this, consider this, because it does make a difference.
Great, thank you. And one of the things that Dr. Garv and I have talked about over time is sort of like you mentioned, the cultural differences. So a lot of women especially are coming into the workplace, and it's male dominated and white male dominated. How has working with Dr. Garv really specifically in that area helped you to kind of stand your own?
It's ironic because I'm working in a subway where everyone is a white male. And I am literally learning how to not cut them off, but interrupt them and challenge them and to take credit for my ideas or take my credit back and own it. Like it's perfect timing because I was like, this is a tough environment to hold my own where I stick out like a sore thumb, where it is definitely male dominated and there is a little bit of a, like a bro code of some sort, but I'll sneak my way in there and get into those conversations and learn how to keep my cool to make sure that folks can hear my message. And if they hear it the first time and don't respond, they'll hear it the second time and then be like, oh, wait, she said that and she was right. Okay. So I've won them over, and I think it has to do a lot with the confidence that she has instilled in me for myself. In an environment that is really challenging because it's basically like construction workers, right?
Sure.
Subway is kind of like construction workers. Yeah.
Well, and I appreciate you saying that and just a little bit in depth on that, because I know as a white man, what I've noticed is when women really show up powerfully and own themselves and are really amazing people, man, it just opens the doors. Have you noticed that, like from a female's perspective? And as Dr. Garvin said, this is, an Indian woman's perspective, a brown person's perspective. Have you noticed that just opens the people that they're dealing with, even though you're different cultures?
Yeah, I have hosted this training last week, and I was shocked at how many people came up to me and said thank you. I saw the same people in April yelling at everyone, the facilitators, and they're coming up to me saying thank you. And they're like, I'm going to go buy a box of pizza from this great place that just opened up. Can I get you a slice? I'm like, sure. Like, it's a different environment because I can hold my own, right? I'm not cowering in a corner. And I'm lucky enough that I'm working with a supervisor who's also a white male who, I check in occasionally and be like, are you comfortable with this? Because I'm not stepping on your toes. That is not my goal here. But I need to own this training here because they need to feel supported. The employees need to feel supported, and they need to feel like they can come to someone who can follow through on things. Are you comfortable? And he generally says, yep, here you go, take it and run with it.
That's awesome.
And also, Shiny, can you share your experience about being more open, more confident about talking with senior leaders?
Yeah. There's been a major shift in the executives at our subway system in Boston, and I will just start talking to them, and I have no problems. Before, I would have this voice being like, oh, you shouldn't talk to them, you're not valuable enough to talk to them, you're just temporary, they're not going to connect with you. And I just invite them into the room and have them talk about who they are and where they're coming from and what they find intriguing about the experience. And then I ran into the chief of instructor again a couple of weeks ago, and he actually said that he really enjoyed talking with me. And I was like, yes, I made a good impression. Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah, so that I feel very confident. I don't have that self-doubt that holds you back anymore.
Mm. That's so great. Anything else, Dr. Garv, that you want to chat about?
So, Shiny, one of the things that people think about, first of all, they do not know that there is an investment involved working with a career coach. And then many times they just shy away and feel that I will watch some YouTube videos, try to do things on my own, or go for some inexpensive options. And I want to find out from you, what was it for you where you said that, no, I need this support. I cannot figure this out on my own.
I did 2 sets of inexpensive support, and I had this beautiful calendar where I would schedule meetings with everyone on LinkedIn about jobs. I would scheduled maybe 30 a month.
Wow.
For month after month after month, I could work the connections and talk to people, but it was not happening. And I needed something else. And I knew I need to make the investment, and truly talking with you. And I think it's sometimes surprising to people how important it is to understand who you are and what you want in life. And then going out to find that job. And I think you helped me figure that out as well, right? You helped me figure out that I'm looking for acceptance, honesty, and then I'm ambitious, right? Like, and that really set the tone in what I wanted when I was looking at roles, because many of the roles I applied for after meeting you were newly created because I wanted to make it my own.
Mm. It's so interesting that you say that, right? Knowing that I'm ambitious, and I have seen in the Indian culture, women shy away from owning that up, and they feel that my ambition is not as important as my partner, or as my brother or whoever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's also very interesting to me, that you felt that it was okay, to accept that I'm ambitious. So somewhere you were suppressing that.
Well, yeah, because it was you who was like, you do realize all these notes that you're writing is all about ambition, ambition, ambition. You want to be challenged, you want to grow. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. I do. And I've spent a career working in one role, but taking on so many tasks and working with different populations to keep it interesting for myself, because it wasn't challenging for me. And I didn't realize it until you said it.
Mm, yeah.
One
Because
thing, I'm sorry, go ahead. Were you finished?
I was gonna say the folks that I was surrounded with were trying to keep me in a pigeonhole, and I didn't realize it. The folks that I saw as mentors and role models were definitely trying to hold me back because I did what I did really well.
Mm,
That's a very interesting point. So that brings me one question that I have surrounding the men again, because Dr. Garv and I have talked about a lot of women that come to talk to her. A lot of times the men in their lives try to pigeonhole them as well, or keep them in this position where they believe they should be. And then they don't respect women to have certain roles. And so what was it about Dr. Garv specifically, as a woman, as a professional, that you chose her over, say, a man who was in the same kind of a position?
Because I don't think a man can relate to being second
mm,
or being taken for granted for doing good work. I don't really think that comes naturally to them. Or if it happens maybe once or twice in their career, it may be devastating, but it happens on the regular for women and women of color who are extraordinary at what they do. You're kind of pigeonholed and held back and told that you're not good enough, though you are miles ahead of anyone else in your peer group.
Mm-hmm. And you may or may not be able to speak to this, but what would you tell a woman who has to get permission from a man, say her husband, to pay for Dr. Garv's coaching and to be able to invest in herself, that has the husband or a family member or even a father maybe, or a brother? Because I'm sure there's a lot of different scenarios. What advice would you give to that woman, as a woman, that she could use to talk to the men in her life? Because you've clearly done it with your coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
How could they use that experience to benefit themselves, to have that the men in their lives either give permission or pay for it, or collaborate with them?
Well, there's the easy way, which is saying it's piece of education, right? I think education is always valued culturally, especially in the immigrant community. But then personally, I would be like, what do you actually spend money on yourself and do things for yourself for? Like, I don't think a lot of people do manicures and pedicures for themselves. They may do it for others to get validation, but when do you actually put an investment in yourself to take you to the next level? Because life is so short, you should be enjoying what you do. But to enjoy what you do, you need to have a better understanding of who you are and what you want. And sometimes it gets a little blurry and hazy as we get older, and we have all these roles and titles thrown on us. And we have this second nature of people pleasing, that it's really important to take a step back and think about, like, what do you want and how do you find it? And I think this gave me that. This reminded me that I wanted to travel, that I want to do new things and change and make an impact in the community. And it was a huge investment that I put in myself. And I can tell you, my family was like, "This is crazy. What are you doing?" Like, but they see a difference and they appreciate it. They're finding the balance, because the Shiny who used to drop everything and do everything for you is no longer there. She's a little bit more like, my time is very valuable. Please tell me why. So, but they see the confidence and the joy. My cousin actually was like, "You don't look stressed out like you used to. You look like you're happy." And I'm like, I am genuinely happy and content, which is a wonderful feeling.
That's
And I do think
fantastic.
this has to do a lot with this.
That's fantastic. Anything else, Dr. Garver? Anything that you have, Shiny, that you want to say as the last part?
If you ever need somebody to just talk to someone over the phone about you in this program, give them my cell phone. I'm more than happy to tell them.
Wow.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you.
In a heartbeat. I will drop everything and I will tell them, and they will be, I am confident I can help you get that person to join the group.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Shiny, for taking the time to help further Dr. Garv's mission.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I wish you all the best too. That's an incredible story. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Shiny.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, that
You
was
happy with that?
Yes, very happy.
Yeah. So what I would do is just take that and have it edited into short blurbs, because you can have a long version, but if you have different segments, kind of like the 5-shift webinar, after every shift, there's a testimonial. People's attention spans are pretty short. So if you have a short blurb or a question, and then she answers that question, and then you talk about it or whatever, that might be helpful too to put in.
So instead of a just written testimonial or just having bullet points, I can just insert a short video
Totally.
talking about. Okay.
Totally. In fact, you can have both. So I would have, because you could have, if the best thing to do is your webinar has subtitles, so people can be riding on in the subway or whatever, and they can be reading it. But the visual video testimonial of her, she was so great. She was bubbly and and she loves the program clearly. So, and you don't have to use all of that,
Right.
I mean, and you don't have to show my face at all, but maybe 1 or 2 times if you don't want to.
Yeah.
You can just have my voice and and her. However you want to use that, I give you my permission on that, because I want you to succeed on that.
Yeah. Thank you. Especially the white man part. I'm so glad that you asked that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know that's an important thing for you. You've mentioned that a few times. And, if for me, the closest friends that I've had, one is Taiwanese American, and one was full-blooded Indian. And his mother did not like or disapproved of his girlfriend who had a boyfriend prior. She was like supermodel, beautiful, smart, sweet. She took care of me when I was sick one time. but that wasn't good enough for his mother. And I thought, wow, that was brutal. Brutal. So even though I'm not Indian, I've done 23 Vipassana meditation courses.
Wow.
10-day
I'm
meditation
impressed.
over the last, this coming May will be 25 years since I took my first one. So I've been steeped in the Indian culture. I love the food, but I don't know the culture, so I think too that a lot of times, we're just all one big family anyway, and it's just a big family feud we have going on all over the world.
Right, absolutely.
And so, but it's easy for cultures and white men or black women or black men or brown people or whatever, indigenous to everybody. We're all tribal.
Right.
It's tribal feuds. This group doesn't like that group down the street, and so you have a fight.
Right.
But if we can bridge the gap in your little world and in my little world and in her little world, then those little lives can, are all of the lives that you touch can be better.
Right.
So, and you know me, I don't shy away from saying what there is to say. So just let me know when the next person is and we'll make it.
So Abhijit will be available tomorrow. He hasn't confirmed the time yet, but
All right.
so you're not available 10:30 to 11:30, right?
Yeah, I've got my mastermind call at that time. It's 11:30 to 12:30 Eastern on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
And then I've got on I think it's Thursday. It's either Thursday or I think it's Thursday evening. Excuse me, at 7 p.m. I'm not available either. I think it's Thursday.
Okay.
So, but other than that, I work from home too. So.
Okay. Yeah. And Priya just messaged me. She will be available on Wednesday. So I'll let you know the time when she's available.
Perfect. Yep. Great. All righty.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.